For the last few years, Arabs have been sports washing on a massive scale. From offering Cristiano Ronaldo a staggering $200 million per year contract to acquiring clubs like Newcastle United and AS Roma, to heavy investments in sports like golf and boxing and the FIFA World Cup. The Arab influence in global sports is undeniable. The motive behind this is clear. With the rise of electric vehicles and decreasing oil dependency worldwide, Arabs needed an alternative global strategy, and sports became a perfect avenue. Yet, despite these aggressive investments, one noticeable trend stands out. Arabs have poured billions into European football, Formula One, and even live golf. Yet they have completely ignored American sports leagues like the NFL, NBA, and MLB. But why? The answer: socialism.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup is Qatar.
Will be Saudi Arabia.
Sport is sports. It's nothing to do with politics, and that's what we're doing here.
If you think you're not involved in Saudi money at a high sports level, I'm sorry, but it's there.
Sport washing gonna increase my GDP by 1%, and then I will continue doing sport washing.
Welcome to Sports Wale, and today we'll break down why Arabs are unlikely to invest in American sports anytime soon. Before we begin, remember that it takes a lot of research, time, and effort to make these videos. So if you enjoy our content, please hit that subscribe button. Football is the most played, most watched, and most extravagant sport in the world. It has the biggest fan base, generates massive revenue, and boasts clubs with century-old legacies. Yet, if you look at a list of the 10 most valuable sports teams in the world, how many football clubs do you find? None. According to Forbes and Wikipedia, the 10 most expensive sports franchises are all from American sports leagues. The highest-ranked football club, Real Madrid, sits at number 12, followed by Manchester United and then more American teams. This raises a question. If football is the world's biggest sport, why don't its clubs hold the top spots in valuation? The answer lies in how American and European sports leagues were structured from the very beginning. To understand this, we need to go back to the mid-18th century, when both America and England started formalizing leagues for their favorite sports. The major difference was in their league structures. American leagues operate on a closed league system where a fixed number of teams compete every year and no team can be relegated or promoted. European football leagues, on the other hand, follow an open league system where teams that finish at the bottom are relegated to a lower division and top-performing teams from lower leagues get promoted. This means that open league teams are financially vulnerable. If a team performs poorly, it risks relegation, losing millions in broadcasting revenue and sponsorships. On the other hand, American teams are safe from relegation, allowing franchises to maintain stable, long-term value. Now let's compare competitive balance. In the NFL, 10 different teams have won the last 16 Super Bowls. In the Premier League, only 5 teams have won the last 16 league titles. Manchester United dominated the late 90s and early 2000s, and Manchester City has ruled the last decade. That means, in reality, only 2 or 3 teams have truly been title contenders at a time, creating a monopoly of success. This brings us to the core of the issue. American sports distribute wealth and talent more evenly, while European football allows teams to hoard power. But why does this all matter to Arabs? Arabs prefer a system where they can buy a club, inject an unimaginable amount of money, lure world-class players, and pay them impossible wages to build a super team. This is exactly what happened with Manchester City, the most dominant English club of the last decade. Before being acquired by Abu Dhabi's Sheikh Mansour in 2008, Manchester City had won only 2 league titles in its entire 131-year history. But since 2012, they have won 7 more in just 12 years. A historically mediocre club, has completely overshadowed the legacy of English football giants like Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. Now, the same playbook is being used with Newcastle United, owned by the Saudi Public Investment Fund (PIF). Within just a couple of years, Newcastle went from a mid-table team to a Champions League contender. But this approach simply wouldn't work in the NFL, NBA, or MLB. Why? Because American leagues have built-in socialist structures that prevent a single team from becoming too dominant. Unlike European football, where clubs can spend as much as they want, US leagues enforce salary caps that limit how much teams can pay players. This means even the wealthiest owners cannot simply buy championships. In the NFL and NBA, television revenue and other major earnings are split among all teams, ensuring smaller market teams remain competitive. This would be unthinkable in European football, where elite clubs demand a larger share of broadcasting rights. Unlike football, where the richest clubs buy the best young players, American leagues use a draft system where the worst performing teams get the best young talent, ensuring that bad teams can rebuild. In leagues like the NBA and MLB, teams that spend beyond the salary cap must pay a luxury tax, with the extra money redistributed to poorer teams. While financial fair play exists in football, wealthy clubs often exploit loopholes, such as inflating sponsorship deals from companies linked to their owners. Meet this man, Rui Pinto. In 2015, this hacker started to publish hundreds of confidential documents and emails related to football teams and players. In 2018, a thread explaining leaked emails from Manchester City went viral, and that showed that City breached financial regulations, spending more than what they earned. They technically didn't. But the emails showed that the extra cash was injected by the team sponsors, who are also owned by the owner of the club, Sheikh Mansour. And a couple of years later, few other clubs did the same. So, if not taken care of, this virus can infect the biggest sport of the world. In American sports, new owners must be approved by league authorities, and teams cannot be relocated or fundamentally altered without permission. In football, billionaires can buy full control and run the club however they want. Arab investors often prefer sports where politics and activism don't interfere with business. American sports leagues are deeply connected to social issues. The NFL faced backlash over kneeling protests during the national anthem. The NBA has strong ties to political activism and frequently addresses social issues. For an Arab investor who wants sports to be strictly business, dealing with these controversies can be unappealing. At its core, the American sports model is about fairness, revenue sharing, and preventing dominance, which contradicts the very reason why Arab investors enter the sports world in the first place. They prefer European football's free market system, where they can inject unlimited funds, dominate competitions, and turn mid-table clubs into global powerhouses overnight. So while Arabs will continue pouring billions into football, F1, boxing, and golf, don't expect them to own an NFL, NBA, or MLB team anytime soon. As long as American sports remain socialist, the biggest investors in global sports will stay far away. It takes a lot of effort to bring these videos for you, so kindly hit that subscribe button.